When you flip through history textbooks, you get dates, names, and events. But here's what they don't tell you. There are ancient objects so puzzling that even with all our modern technology, we still can't figure them out. We're talking about 5,000-year-old plumbing that rivals today's engineering, swords that could slice through steel like butter, yet we can't recreate them, and massive structures built with precision that makes our jaws drop. Today, we're diving into 10 of history's most baffling artifacts. Each one is a reminder that our ancestors might have been way smarter than we give them credit for. Buckle up. This is going to get wild. 1. The Roman Dodecahedron. Picture this. Archaeologists are digging through Roman ruins. They're finding the usual stuff. Pottery shards, old coins, rusty swords. Standard Roman fare. Then suddenly someone pulls out this weird bronze object. It's about the size of a baseball. But here's where it gets strange. It's got 12 flat faces, perfectly round holes on each side, and these little knobs sticking out at every corner. Nobody knows what it is. Seriously, we've found over 100 of these things across Europe, and we still don't have a clue what the Romans used them for. There's no mention of them in any Roman text. Zero. It's like they just forgot to write it down. Some experts think it might have been a surveying tool. Maybe soldiers used it to measure distances in the field. Others believe it tracked the stars and seasons, functioning as a portable astronomical calculator. Here's the kicker. It could have been important enough to manufacture by the hundreds, yet somehow nobody bothered documenting what it actually did. Was it a religious object? A secret tool for an elite group? Or just some Roman novelty item we're overthinking? The mystery remains. 2. Damascus Steel. Now let's talk about a metal so legendary, it sounds like something from a fantasy movie. Damascus steel swords were the ultimate weapon of the medieval world. Warriors claimed these blades could slice a falling silk scarf in half and chop through an enemy's sword without chipping. But get this, they were also flexible. You could bend them, and they'd snap right back into shape without losing their razor-sharp edge. The blacksmiths who forged these blades were treated like magicians. And honestly, they might as well have been. Because here's the problem, we've completely lost the formula. Modern metallurgists have tried everything. They've analyzed surviving blades under electron microscopes. They've tested different carbon levels, temperatures, and forging techniques. And still, nobody can recreate authentic Damascus steel. We know it came from India and the Middle East, spreading along trade routes to Europe and beyond. It became a status symbol. Kings and generals would pay fortunes for a single blade. Then, sometime around the 18th century, the knowledge just vanished. Today, Damascus steel isn't just a lost recipe. It's a reminder that ancient civilizations had skills we still can't match. 3. The Maya calendar. Rewind about 1,500 years. Most of the world is still figuring out basic agriculture. But in Central America, the Maya are doing something extraordinary. They're tracking time with mind-blowing precision. The Maya calendar wasn't just for marking birthdays and holidays. This thing predicted solar eclipses, planetary alignments, and seasonal changes hundreds of years into the future. And they did it without computers, without telescopes, without any of the tools we consider essential today. How accurate was it? Close enough to rival our modern atomic clocks. Let that sink in. These ancient astronomers used careful observations, mathematical genius, and stone carvings to create what might be the most sophisticated calendar system in human history. They planned their crops, religious ceremonies, and social events based on cosmic cycles most people didn't even know existed. Even now, scientists study the Maya calendar, trying to fully understand its complexity. Every layer reveals new mathematical patterns, astronomical knowledge, and proof that ancient minds were capable of incredible things. The Maya didn't just track time, they mastered it. 4. The Lighthouse of Alexandria. Imagine being a sailor in the ancient world. You're navigating by stars, hoping you don't crash into rocks in the dark. Then from miles away, you see it. a beam of light cutting through the night sky like a laser. That was the Lighthouse of Alexandria, one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world and possibly the most advanced piece of engineering in antiquity. Standing over 300 feet tall, this massive tower guided ships safely into one of the busiest ports in the Mediterranean. But here's what blows my mind. Some historians believe it used a system of mirrors and polished metal to amplify firelight so intensely that it could be seen from 30 miles away. Think about that technology. We're talking about the year 280 BC. No electricity, no modern optics. Yet somehow, they created what functioned almost like an ancient laser system. The engineering required to build something that tall, that stable, and that functional was extraordinary. And the light system? We're still not entirely sure how they pulled it off. Sadly, earthquakes destroyed the lighthouse centuries ago, taking most of its secrets with it. What we're left with is just enough knowledge to be amazed, and frustrated that we'll never see it in action. 5. Hōryū-ji Temple wood. Let's head to Japan for a second. In Nara Prefecture stands the Hōryū-ji Temple, one of the oldest wooden buildings on Earth. It was built around 607 AD. That's over 1,400 years ago. Now, here's the thing about wood. It rots. It warps. Insects eat it. Weather destroys it. Even the toughest timber usually breaks down within a few centuries. Yet this temple is still standing. Strong, stable, nearly unchanged. Scientists have studied the wood trying to figure out how it survived this long. What they've found is fascinating but incomplete. The builders chose specific trees, likely old-growth cypress. They may have used special drying techniques that removed moisture in ways that prevented decay. The joinery system, which uses interlocking beams without nails, allows the structure to flex during earthquakes instead of collapsing. But even with all that knowledge, modern engineers admit they couldn't guarantee a wooden building would last 400 years. There's something about the craftsmanship, the materials, or the methods that we're still missing. This isn't just a building, it's a time capsule of ancient wisdom we've only partially decoded. 6. The Indus Valley Sewer System. Okay, let's talk about plumbing. Not the most exciting topic, I know, but stay with me. Around 2500 BC, when most civilizations were still dumping waste in the streets, the people of the Indus Valley had something revolutionary: a fully functional sewer system. We're talking about covered drains running along every street, manholes for maintenance, sloped channels that used gravity to move wastewater away from homes, even public baths with advanced drainage. Cities like Mohenjo-daro and Harappa were cleaner 4,500 years ago than many modern cities are today. Think about that. Every house had access to fresh water and waste disposal. The whole system was planned before construction even began, meaning city planners designed the infrastructure before building anything else. This level of urban engineering didn't appear in Europe until the 19th century. So how did an ancient civilization pull this off? Where did they get the knowledge? Was there some earlier culture that taught them, or did they figure it out through trial and error? We don't know. What we do know is this: the Indus Valley people understood sanitation, public health, and engineering at a level that wouldn't be matched for thousands of years. 7. The Shigir Idol. In 1890, gold miners in Siberia were digging through a peat bog when they hit something strange. It wasn't gold. It was wood. Carved wood. Really old carved wood. When scientists finally examined it, they were stunned. The Shigir Idol is approximately 12,500 years old, making it the oldest known wooden sculpture in the world. To put that in perspective, it was carved 7,000 years before the pyramids were built. The statue is covered in symbols, geometric patterns, human faces, and markings that nobody has been able to fully interpret. Some researchers think they're spiritual symbols. Others believe they're a form of proto-writing. Here's the wildest part. Wood doesn't last. It decomposes. Yet this statue survived because it was buried in a peat bog, which acted like a natural preservative. But who made it? What does it mean? And why did prehistoric humans invest so much effort into carving these intricate designs? The Shigir Idol is proof that early humans weren't just surviving, they were creating, thinking symbolically, and communicating in ways we're only beginning to understand. 8. Göbekli Circle. Welcome to Germany, around 4900 BC. Long before Stonehenge, before the pyramids, before written language, ancient people built something incredible. It's called the Göbekli Circle, and it's one of the oldest solar observatories ever discovered. This circular structure is about 250 feet across, made of earth banks and wooden posts. But here's the genius part. 3 gates were positioned to align perfectly with the sunrise and sunset during the winter and summer solstices. These people didn't have smartphones or GPS. They didn't even have written records. Yet they understood the sun's movement well enough to build a functioning calendar out of dirt and wood. Why did they build it? Probably for agriculture. Knowing when to plant and harvest could mean the difference between survival and starvation. But it also shows something deeper. Humans have always looked up at the sky and wondered. We've always wanted to understand the universe. The Göbekli Circle is 7,000 years old, and it reminds us that curiosity and intelligence aren't modern inventions. 9. The Moai statues. Everyone knows about Easter Island's giant stone heads. But here's what most people don't realize. They're not just heads. For years, people assumed the Moai were just oversized sculptures of faces sticking out of the ground. Then archaeologists started digging. Turns out, these statues have full bodies buried underground. Some extend over 30 feet deep, with hands, torsos, and intricate carvings hidden beneath the surface. So why are they buried? Did erosion and time bury them, or were they intentionally placed that way? Nobody's completely sure. What we do know is that carving and moving these statues, some weighing over 80 tons, required serious engineering. The island's ancient Rapa Nui people transported them miles using only ropes, logs, and manpower. Some researchers believe the statues represented ancestors watching over the living. Others think they were symbols of power and status. But the biggest question remains, why go through all that effort for something half buried in the ground? Maybe the answer is still underground, waiting to be uncovered. 10. Hōryū Caves. Let's wrap up with one of the strangest discoveries of the 20th century. In 1992, a Chinese farmer decided to drain a local pond. As the water disappeared, something impossible appeared. A massive underground cave system completely hand-carved. Not just one cave, 24 of them, covering over 30,000 square meters. And here's the crazy part. Nobody knew they existed. There's no mention of them in historical records. No ancient texts, no local legends, nothing. The walls are smooth and uniform, with parallel chisel marks still visible. The pillars are evenly spaced. The engineering is so precise that modern builders struggle to explain how it was done. Experts estimate that excavating just one cave would have required 1 million days of labor. And there are 24 of them. So who built them? Why? And how did such a massive construction project stay hidden from history? Some theories suggest they were built for religious purposes. Others think they might have been storage facilities or shelters. A few even speculate they're evidence of a lost civilization. But without documentation, we're left guessing. The Hōryū Caves are a humbling reminder that history isn't complete. There are chapters missing, stories lost to time that we may never fully recover. So there you have it. 10 ancient mysteries that science still can't fully explain. From Roman gadgets to buried statues, from lost metalworking techniques to underground cities, our ancestors were doing things we still don't completely understand. And maybe that's okay. Maybe these mysteries are what keep history alive. They remind us that we don't have all the answers, that discovery is ongoing, and that the past still has secrets to share. Which one of these blew your mind the most? Drop a comment below and let me know. If you enjoyed this deep dive into history's greatest puzzles, smash that like button and share this with anyone who loves a good mystery. Thanks for watching, stay curious, and I'll catch you in the next one.